Hello there, and welcome to another Commodore 64 playthrough. I'm not sure where to start with this. This will not be a long video, I can tell you now. This is the conversion, if for want of a better word, of the game based on the TV show The A-Team. So, questions. First of all, why are they using the Star Wars music? Okay, alright. Second of all, what on earth are those graphics doing on the homepage? BA, Face, Hannibal and Murdoch. So for those of you who aren't old like I am, what is the A-Team? Well, the A-Team was an extremely popular 80s TV program. And the idea with the A-Team was that these four guys ran away from Vietnam. They were meant to be in Vietnam, killing people in the Vietnam War, and then they ran away. And so what they decided to do was to form a group, basically a vigilante group, where people could hire them, and they could hire them to help them out in situations where the police or the army wouldn't help them. But in the back of their mind, they had the American army was also on their tail and was after them as well, because obviously they'd ran away from Vietnam, so they wanted to get them as well. So this ran for I think it's about 5 or 6 seasons. It was immensely popular, not only in the USA but also in the UK. It was standard Saturday tea time viewing, and it had a massive cult following. I mean, the whole program itself was notable for lots of things. The first thing was that you had these four characters who were completely different characters. So you had Hannibal, who was the sort of brains of the operation, and he was great at pulling on disguises and coming up with plans, and he used to have a catchphrase of I love it when a plan comes together, and he used to chomp on cigars, which was great. And then you had BA, who was Mr. T, and he was this really big, rugged African American, and he was just amazing. He was always drenched in gold chains and gold bracelets, and he was the sort of fixer, so he could make stuff. Often they would be trapped in sort of 3/4 of the way through an episode. They would be in prison somewhere, but they'd be in prison somewhere where they could actually make something to help them get out. So they'd sort of lock them away and say, like, for example, a garage. And then BA would come up with the idea of using all the spare parts and everything to make something to allow them to escape, and they'd make a tank or a ram or something like that. So, and BA was also the muscle as well. He was a strong one. So the funny thing about BA was that BA refused to go on a plane. So they had to drug him basically to get him to go on a plane anywhere, which is like nice family friendly viewing, isn't it? And and he wouldn't drink, so he had to have, or he wouldn't drink alcohol. He would only have milk, and so they used to put the drugs in the milk, and they'd be like going, you ain't getting me in no plane full. So that was him. And then we had Face, who was the same guy who played Starbuck from Battlestar Galactica, and he was the good-looking guy, and he would be the one who would romance the women, whether the women be the enemies or the sort of friends, if you like, the people that they were trying to represent. And so his function was basically to do the sort of charm offensive, if you like. And then we have Murdoch, Howling Mad Murdoch, who was the funniest of the lot. So Murdoch was a couple of sandwiches short of a picnic, shall we say. And him and BA used to wind each other up all the time, because BA was the sort of really sort of forthright, sensible one, and you had Murdoch, who was always mucking about. Murdoch's main strength was he was a pilot, so he could fly helicopters and aeroplanes and things. So you had these four guys who were just completely different, and they would stumble upon people who needed help, and it was usually something like a village, and they were being oppressed by some nasty people. They were sort of trying to do them for money, or they were blocking off their water supply or something like that. And as I say, the only way that these people could get help was by hiring the A-Team, and they would come and help them out. And that was the story. It had so much going for it. I mean, there was it had two main things. With the van that they drove was this big black GMC van, and that had a red stripe on it, and that had that was very notable. And then the other thing was nobody ever died in it. So there was always these massive fights where they'd have big gunfights and explosions and bombs, and they'd build tanks and they'd get aeroplanes to drop. Oh, it was just like, carnage everywhere. And yet nobody ever died, or occasionally one person might get shot, and it'd be like, this big deal and stuff, which was always like, just absolutely hilarious with the A team. So it was great. As I say, it ran for ages. They're rerunning it again, I think, on one of the, not Dave, but something like Dave on Sky. And they tried to redo it. They made a film version of it, but it missed the point, because it was all $100 million budgets and big explosions and Liam Neeson as Hannibal, and it just completely and utterly missed the point of why we like the original. We like the original just because it was so. Oh, it was such this combination of these great personalities and stuff. So I've rattled on about the 18 for 5 minutes, but what's this game all about? Well, this is the thing. This game isn't a game. It's just you've got the four faces at the top, and you've got this man at the bottom. I'm not sure what this man's meant to be. Is he meant to be one of these military police after them because he ran away from Vietnam? Or is he just an enemy, one of these sort of nasty people that they've been hired to get rid of? I don't know. And this is it. This is the game. This has to be absolutely one of the worst Commodore 64 games ever released. I mean, sure, there'll be some games coded in BASIC that were probably worse than this, assuming this isn't coded in BASIC, of course. But it's just appalling. I mean, the graphics are obviously rubbish. There's no advancement in the gameplay. You just hit the A team as many times as you can, and then you get a score, and that's it. There's no level 2, level 3, level 4, level 5. Yes, I know it says level on the right hand side, but it's just more of the same. And there's no additional gameplay. It's not a multi-leveler. It's nothing. It is just basically your little green man at the bottom smacking four 2 times sprites who are meant to be, as I say, Hannibal and BA, and that's it, really. I mean, even though that's the graphics of the game are actually just 5 things, your man and these 4 guys. They don't even, I mean, BA looks like Pat Butcher. Hannibal sort of looks like Hannibal because he gets his cigar out, so I can understand that. Face could be anybody. Face is like the robot of Buck Rogers, a face could be anybody at all. And then Murdoch, it's like most things. If I tell you it's Murdoch, you go, oh yeah, it looks like Murdoch. But to be honest, it's shocking. So it's just one of those things where it's a bit like when I did Chase HQ the other day. It's like, how did they just get away with this sort of thing? Because can you imagine in the software studios going, I've made this game 18, should we release it? Yeah, go on, why not? Because it would have cost them a fortune to get hold of the licensing. You've got to go through all the software things. You've got to sell this game to WH Smiths or whoever it is that's going to put it on the shelves. I just don't understand the whole sort of machinery of getting a game like this out there. Never mind, asking people to pay money for it. But yeah, it's definitely one of the worst games ever made for the Commodore 64, and I challenge anybody to defend this because it's not even fun. It's not even cute. The music's wrong. I tell you what, if it played the A-Team. If it played the A-Team theme tune, it would be worth it then, because that was a good theme tune, and it doesn't even do that. So yeah. Anyway, so yes, if you want to go play it. If you've got 10 minutes of your life that you've just wasted watching me play it, and you want to spend another 10 minutes of your life wasting it, then go for it. But yeah, I think you've got the message, haven't you? If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like. Any questions or any nostalgia about the A-Team? That sounds more fun. Let's go and discuss the A-Team. Leave a comment below, and don't forget to subscribe.